This is the Korg NTS-1. It's a standalone version of the digital oscillator that's inside the Prolog and the Minilog XD. It has all digital. It has a MIDI input on the back. I'm controlling it through this USB MIDI host adapter. And it has a digital oscillator, filter, envelope generator. Also has 3 separate digital effects internally. Modulation effect, things like choruses and flanges, a delay effect, and also a digital reverb. And they are chained together one after another in that order. Even though the NTS-1 is completely digital, it has no presets. And what I've brought into the mix today is the Lexicon MRC-1. It's a MIDI control panel from the late 1980s. Yes, I've had it for over 30 years. It was originally developed to control the Lexicon half-rack unit, the LXP1 and the LXP5. But it also functions as a general MIDI controller. You can build patches and assign the onboard faders and this bank of buttons here to MIDI commands. It has 2 MIDI universe outs on the back. So it has a MIDI A and a MIDI B out, has MIDI A and B in. It does merging. It will merge the onboard controls to an external signal coming in. It's a giant MIDI processor. On the NTS-1, you have selection buttons for each of the operations. So oscillator, filter, envelope generator, the modulation effect, delay effect, and the reverb. And then you have 3 knobs. That's all your control. And there's no feedback really from the knobs as to what is going on. It's all just by ear. So what I did is I built a generic machine inside the MRC to send appropriate CC commands over to the NTS-1. So here on this button, I've just put a note trigger. So it's just playing a single middle C note. That's all we're doing. And the NTS-1 has just been powered on, so it boots up in the generic SAW and everything is at the default. So now if I go into the MRC, I go setup, I load my first setup, which is setup number 5, and I hit the star button over here, which transmits the MIDI. So the panel says transmitting MIDI. Now when I hit the button, changed the settings on the NTS-1. Now because I wanted more controls, I'm going to do the same thing. I have a setup 6. And I did this because I wanted to do some experiments. So on the NTS-1, I'm using the tape effect, which is a stock effect on the delay time. And I wanted to play with kind of a Karplus-Strong type setting. Which is basically change the delay time and that creates a different timbre. And I also have live control over the feedback. So I can do like an infinite loop feedback. I also have control over the mix. So I can go from a full wet mix into the dry mix. So this was just a quick video to show how you can use very old equipment, because the MIDI standard is as robust as it has been. So very old equipment like the MRC, along with very new equipment like the NTS-1, and combine them together. Now remember, all of the tonal variation that's happening, I'm only playing basically a pulse. It's a sawtooth wave just going straight into the delay line. I'm not changing notes, I'm not pitch bending or anything else. I'm changing the delay time, the depth, and the mix from wet to dry. And the MRC gives me the ability to do that in real time. So, great little tool to pick up if you have a lot of MIDI equipment that needs control, or even to control virtual instruments. It is old, so it only has physical 5-pin DINs on it, but there are ways like MIDI host adapters to get it into even a in-the-box recording setup. So, hope you enjoyed my experiments with the NTS-1 and the Lexicon MRC. Have a marvelous day.